Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. And it's coming right up. You're going to hear a roar of the crowd, and believe me, you will never, ever forget it. Are you ready? Count it down. Ready? Okay, here we go now. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
All right, everybody, let's get on it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Drew today. And Eli brought to you by Dr. Yaldo. My God, what a complete domination. Is this all pissiness from last year?
Well, it was a totally dominating effort, and Dallas is not very good, and they come in with a bunch of guys hurt on defense that the Lions easily exploited. I think maybe it didn't matter because they were going to dominate them anyway. They're a much better team, but the game, it's such a bittersweet or sweet, bitter experience because as good as they looked and as dominant, and Jared Goff, another incredible game, a rating of 153, 47 points, stars galore, but Aiden Hutchinson, gruesome, awful victory. Just shows you what can happen in sports where you're just on a high when your team and the players you care about are playing so well, and then boom, best player on defense and maybe the second or third best on the team, if not the very best.
I was just
obviously
thinking,
out for the season. That his leg was flopping around.
No way.
It was disgusting.
Well, you don't think he can come
Gruesome.
back?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Tape it up. What? You can't just tape that up? What are you talking about?
When I was...
hey, Tim Crumry never missed a game.
Is that true?
Well, I mean, remember his floppy leg in the Super Bowl? I mean, that was the last game of the year. But he did come back, and he was ready for the season when it started.
Well, that would not be enough time for the Super Bowl.
I'm being a little facetious.
What position does he play?
Yeah.
Nonetheless, before that happened, I was just in my brain thinking, this is the team. This is the team. If they're going to win the Super Bowl, they should do it this year. They'll never be at a greater peak. And then as soon as that injury happened, I thought, it's such a slog to win the Super Bowl. You can never say this is the team. What the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah. This is the team, Drew.
I do think it's the team, but it is a slog, and who knows what can happen. I mean, injuries are a big part of it, in football especially, and that's a big loss. Although they're deep, it's still a huge loss.
And their other defensive end, Marcus Davenport, is out for the season, so they're going to maybe do something. But I tell you,
Max Crosby, baby.
Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady loves the Lions. He's got to cut back in the Red Bull.
Tom Brady sucks.
He started the game. He was just so pumped up. I'm thinking, you're on some kind of... People think I'm high when I do this show. This guy was
Zoom already accusing you on the chat.
He's just vanilla. He goes in one ear, out the other. And I can't believe, how much are they paying him?
$37 million, $2 million a game. It's just
paying him for that.
The cliches and the platitudes. Oh, I'd love to be a quarterback for this team. Just the praise was, which is fine because they played well. But
can someone tell me why they paid him $370 million for 10 years? Why Tom Brady had never done a game?
Idea.
It really is one of those that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, you think people at that level would be especially careful and know that you can't possibly know a guy is going to be a great color guy until he does it?
Or did anybody make a decision today that wouldn't otherwise have watched this game, decided to watch it because Tom Brady was doing color commentary?
No.
That number is 0.
The number is 0 for almost anybody.
I caught myself saying, shut up, Tom, like at least 6 times today. I don't know. He sucks.
What upset you, Brandon?
I don't know.
He doesn't suck. He's not bad, but I mean, he's definitely not worth $2 million a game.
No.
As soon as I came into here, the first thing Brandon said, Tom Brady sucks.
Yeah.
I think he's mediocre right now, but he's too pumped up. He's got to pull it back a little bit.
Oh, he's so hungry. He's so aggressive. He wants to be the best at anything, and this is something he thinks he can be the best at. And
weirdo.
It's a little early to really judge the guy too harshly. I just, honestly, for the life of me, I have no idea why they would give him a long-term deal for that much money.
He'll be fine, like Tony Romo turned out to be fine. But yes, why they needed to double the price, unless there was a bidding war for him, unless ESPN wanted him.
I don't know why there would be.
A
bidding war?
Because he's Tom fucking Brady.
Yeah, but you can't increase audience with a color guy. You got to have the teams on the field. If Tom Brady's doing a high school game, is everyone going to watch it?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think unless somebody's
What if Taylor Swift was doing color commentary? Maybe maybe they want to get women with Tom Brady. I don't know.
Okay, now if they hired
Who
Taylor
knows what
Swift for
kind
that
of
much money, I would understand it because women would watch the fucking game.
Yeah, it's nobody makes a choice for that because nobody knows who's even going to be doing the game. You watch it's just like there's so many different stations that the games are on. They're on the NFL Network, they're on CBS, Fox, FS1, ESPN2. It doesn't matter. You find the game that you want to watch. You don't find it because of who's in the booth. Not that you should have bad broadcasters, but they're all pretty competent, and it's rare unless you got Mark Schlereth or something like that.
Oh, God.
That drives you fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, thank God he wasn't doing the game. Although I was watching Olsen earlier today. Did he do the NFL? No, he didn't. I don't know. He did one of the 1 o'clock games. He's so good, Greg Olsen, and that's who Brady kicked out of the booth.
I thought Lisa Olsen was great when she was a
Zeke
reporter.
Mowat?
Yeah. When she faced the Zeke, what was it, the Zeke missile or whatever? Or the Patriot missile? The
yeah.
Patriot missile.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should go over at least some of the game.
Oh, yeah.
In case people didn't watch it carefully, because the Lions, their first series was just so impressive that Tim Patrick makes the defensive guy is all over him. He makes a beautiful catch, comes back for the ball, pushes the defender out of the way, 42 yards, something like that. And then Montgomery, although Brady did make a good point, although it was obvious to see, the offensive line was so overwhelming for the Lions today that Gibbs, as fast as he is, it's like, boom, he's 7 or 8 yards past the line of scrimmage, or anybody gets near him.
Well, there was that one vanilla play we were watching. I think they got a 3-yard gain. It was like, if that was a normal play where the line doesn't get pushed 2 yards, Eli, that was a 1 yard loss.
Right.
So you're talking a difference of 4 yards just because of the line getting that push.
So he runs for a touchdown, although he didn't get hit. It was from the 16-yard line. Didn't get hit to the 3, but he did fight his way into the end zone.
Well, they grabbed his jersey, spun around. Yeah.
So then next time down, or next time they get the ball, is they're ahead 10-3 because they get a field goal, and they get an interception early on. Joseph Branch intercepts it in the end zone. Beautiful interception by Branch. Brady explained it, although we could see it on the replay, that he dropped off his man, went in the end zone, and Dak didn't see the fact that he was there because CeeDee Lamb was beating Joseph at the time. Then the next time, so they're ahead 10-3. The flea flicker. The flea flicker, where it's Montgomery to St. Brown to Goff to Laporta, that puts them up 17-3. And really, at that point, I think everybody felt, especially with Dallas having so many injuries on defense, the line's just going to run over them. You could tell at that point.
Is that when they quit?
I
think they did
You
quit.
should say for the last 3 hours, they quit. The Cowboys have quit.
Well, I don't think professional athletes don't really quit, but
I don't believe people quit either.
But they took advantage. There was some lazy tackling. There was that one quick snap touchdown pass to J-Mo.
Yeah.
They were on their heels. They didn't quit, but the effort wasn't as good as you would want it
I have to say, I think the Lions, they must work on those trick plays a lot because they are good at trick plays. I mean, I've seen they had a bad fake field goal a while ago. They've screwing up now and again, but they run a fair number of trick plays.
They do. They're very creative. There's always men in motion. There's always people cutting across the field. There's movement in the backfield. Guys are switching, places on the line. They're very creative. Ben Johnson's very, very good, and they got 2 terrific running backs. Not 1, but 2. It's good to have 1. They've got 2. Both, by the way, same game. Both 12 carries. Montgomery 80 yards. Gibbs 83 yards. Goff hit 10 different receivers today. He missed. He did miss his first throw, though. He threw the first.
He did.
Was way over
his head.
He was still 18 of 25, though, 315 yards, 153.8 quarterback rating. Of course, Brady said, "Oh, I'd love to play for this team." He was just so effusive in his praise.
Golf?
I can pull it back.
He'd be pretty damn good.
Bring him in
behind that line.
Somebody on the chat wants you to give it up for J-Mo, Drew.
Yeah.
But I don't have to suck his ass every time he has a good game. Jesus Christ, he had 2 really mediocre first 2 seasons.
He also
What's the problem with
He
that?
also had a drop with the ball hit him in the chest.
Yeah.
Bad drop.
But he's averaging 22 yards a catch. Good for him. I want him to do well. I like the way they spread it out, too. He got the flea flicker. That almost seemed like it was designed to give Laporta a touchdown since he's had kind of a slow start. Although
thank God.
Is that the last ball he caught
Right?
today?
Thank God, right, Brandon?
I want to say that was the very first time he ever, when he caught a very first touchdown pass, it was the same play. That's what I want to say.
flea flicker?
Flea flicker.
wasn't that his first touchdown though? Did he catch another pass after that? I mean, Khalif Raymond caught 3 or 4 balls and actually got some yards. But Goff is really spreading it around.
10 different
Amon-Ra had a
guys.
touchdown.
This is his only catch today. So
They do have speed, though, don't
take
they?
it.
JMO is fast. Gibbs is fast. St. Brown is fast. They had a great offensive line. It's just the only
Khalif
question.
Raymond.
Khalif Raymond is good too. The only question of this game is what is how badly is Hutchinson hurt? Obviously for the season, but can he be himself again? Is the question.
I think so. Don't you?
Probably a lot of guys can. He seems to have the kind of work ethic where I think he'll become every bit as good as anyone with that injury possibly could.
It also helps that it was the tibia and not like the femur.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like it's that big bone. He should be able to at least come back, but
Put
definitely
a
not.
Metal rod in there, tape it up, and spit on it.
Yeah.
And the injury was caused by McNeil had a great game.
God, he did, didn't he?
Two big sacks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, created a season-ending injury in his own player because it was his knee that you correctly identified. We looked at that play 15 times, maybe 20 times, and
I don't know how you looked at it that many times.
it was
Well, because we're trying to figure out what happened. Some people were saying it was an ankle. I'm like, no, that's a broken leg, man.
Yeah. Well, at first I thought it was his hand because he was taking his glove off.
Yeah.
Then we looked at that. We could tell it wasn't his hand, but and then
Well, you knew it was bad when the first replay you could see him let go of the quarterback.
yeah.
He was in so much pain.
Yeah.
Didn't you
Kind of
think?
pussy move, honestly.
I thought there were.
He finished it though. He reached back up for him after he let go.
There were
He did get the sack, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Didn't it seem like there were so many pass interference penalties that didn't get called? I thought on Dallas's first drive that
In the end zone,
Carlton Davis definitely interfered with C.D. Lamb,
Yep.
and Patrick was definitely interfered with on that catch, and time and time again, and also on the 4th and 2 that they didn't get. I thought that Terry Arnold jumped over the back of number 9, whoever he was, and hit him in the head before the ball got there.
Wasn't that the turning point in the game? Them not getting the 4th and 2.
Yeah, it could be.
They're
a
down
big play.
17-3, and then after that, I heard they quit. So
It's funny. We thought that the Tigers were a lot worse than they turned out to be, and we knew going in though that the Lions were very, very. They might even be better than we thought they were because you didn't know what would happen when they come back
they
this
just
year.
went on the road in the NFL and won 47-9
Right.
over a team with a winning record at the time. I mean,
And
it's
then a nice win
impressive
against
as hell.
Seattle. Seattle's a good team too. Did they win? Did they play today?
I think Seattle.
The
Oh
other
boy,
night,
I think
didn't
they were
they
off, weren't they? No,
played
tonight's
Thursday and lost.
Bengals Giants. Oh, that's right.
They lost Thursday. Yeah.
Putting 47 on the road's great.
Well, so
It's what do they say? 40 points in consecutive games, the first time since 1962.
I didn't
that
get
right?
that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't
Seriously?
Get,
That's
I
what
looked
they
at,
showed.
wait a minute. I looked at their scores this year. They, at home, they lost 44-19 to the Saints, but they lost 28-25 to Baltimore. They won 20.
Are you talking about
15
Dallas?
Yeah, we're talking about Dallas, right?
I was talking about the Lions. The Lions had 40 points in back-to-back games.
I see. I thought they were talking about the Cowboys giving up 40
You have
points a
stats
game.
that are far worse than the ones that I use.
Well,
No, the
after the
stat-
first couple games, people were like, "Oh, the Lion offense, it just doesn't look the same," and they just need a couple games to tune up. Look at them now; they'll end up being one of the top 3 or 4 offenses in all of football.
I'm glad you brought that up because the sense when you have a good team like the Lions, and I've said this, but it is so true, people just think if they don't win going away, that what's wrong. And Gary Daniels used to say to me all the time, the other guys are good. They're not playing the Sisters of the Poor. Every team is an NFL team, and sometimes the other team just plays really, really well no matter what you do. And that's why, you can't say that they're slipping or they're not as good as you think they are when they just have a hard game. It happens.
You play
But I
to
tell you,
win the game.
Then again, you've got a division that's very, very good. Look what we have here. You got Minnesota 5-0. Terrific job they're doing this year. They got 12 free agents. They got Sam Darnold has come out of the woodwork to be a good quarterback.
Caleb had a pretty good game today in Chicago.
Yep. So you got Minnesota's 5-0. Jordan Love 4 touchdown passes for Green Bay today.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good. Caleb Williams 4 touchdown passes for Chicago. They clobber Jacksonville, which isn't much, but they're good too. So it's going to be an interesting season, and it's going to be tough to win this division. So they got to win at least, which they should, 10 games to make the playoffs. But we'll see what happens when they go on to Minnesota next week.
I can't believe they're not going to win at least 12 games this year. I mean, 10 games just sounds 10 games for this team. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's possible.
Minnesota.
Oh, they should easily win 10 games. Yeah.
I
Easily.
would think they'd be one to win 13 or 14
Yeah.
games.
That'd be nice. But
I mean, they're 4-1. That would be what? If they won 10 games.
12-3.
Yeah.
13-4, 14-3.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But we'll see. Schedule gets interesting at times.
If they
They
can
got to win the
stay-
games in the division too.
if they can stay healthy, right?
No, that's. I mean, they lost a big guy today.
They have depth.
It's
though,
huge.
man. They do.
Well, do you go and you get a? Do you? I mean,
Max
what's
Crosby.
the window? If the window's only a couple of years, do you want to get Max Crosby right away? Maybe Devontae Adams while you're at it.
And when is it? The trade deadline's like halfway through the
Adams.
season, right? It's
We
like
don't need a receiver. What are you
I'm just
talking
saying
about?
he wants to leave too.
I don't want to give anything up for him, but
At
I'll
least
give-
get Max Crosby.
I would
He's from
absolutely
here.
take
He'd
Max
love
Crosby.
to play here, and we need a.
Brandon's just worried about his fantasy team. Anything Brandon wants to do, I am immediately suspicious it has to do with fantasy somehow.
Well, should we go to the college football, or should we go to the Tigers, which are obviously the second big story?
Well, we could, yeah. Why don't you go to the Tigers
do the
first?
Tigers. You know, I went down to Wednesday's game. Not that I enjoy being at the ballpark anymore. I find it very uncomfortable, even though it's
Too many people there.
What's
I'm telling
wrong
you
with
something.
you?
First of all, the seat is very hard. I'm in row 2 behind the dugout. I had the best seat.
Oh
in the
my
house.
God, how horrible. What, row 1 wasn't available?
But even though it was 65 degrees and sunny, it was very warm. I had my T-shirt on and I was still
it was great.
overheated.
It was a great day.
And I buy a beer, not that I can't afford a beer, but my beer that I bought from the vendor, $14.30 for my 16-ounce.
Oh, bitch.
16-ounce dirty blonde.
Yes.
Plus I gave him a 20% tip. I spent $18 on a beer.
Well,
But anyway, no, it was
worth it,
to
though.
watch
There's
those
nothing like
people.
drinking a beer at a playoff
Listen,
game. Come on.
The Tigers brought joy to this town. They brought excitement. They got people engaged. It was very nice to see people tailgating early on. It was like a playoff game in football. It was everybody was there.
Yeah, it's a playoff game.
It was a playoff.
Playoff game's a
It was
playoff
really,
game.
really nice.
The attendance within a 2-month period. I mean, the home games from 2 months ago compared to this is incredible disparity.
I want to say something about the last game that I didn't really see anyone talking about, and that was, it just kills me when you see this shift and you see a little squibber to the second baseman that no one can get to because Keith's playing behind second base and Torkelson doesn't go over and
Then
get it.
Let me ask you this. How many times do you see a ball hit hard up the middle, which is always a base hit?
never
and,
hit.
and it's never anymore.
I know, it's so weird.
There's so many there.
No, I'm used to that, but I'm not used to seeing a little squib to second baseman. Nobody can get there, first of all, and then the other one was that little bloop in the air that Keith had to run over and get, and it was too late to throw the guy to first base. I think it was in the 8th inning.
Okay.
Or so, and then Quan hit a ball right at the shortstop.
What a
that
bastard
would have been
Quan is.
Can I just say something about
standing there?
Can I say something about that guy? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Stephen
I'm
Kwan
so mad at
killed
Stephen
us.
That
Kwan.
little bastard gets a hit
God
every time.
damn, he's too good.
He is 12. Or
Although he
he
did
is,
strike out.
he's 20 for his last 43 in postseason. Quan between this year and the last time they were in the playoff.
You know, obviously,
So good.
a great season. It comes down to the last game. Anything could have happened if Skubal hit Ramirez on the next play after that little squibber by David Fry, who had a home run to win. Was it game 3 or 4?
Yeah, with that big homer.
Yeah, but you know, when the
Well, Lane hit the homer in Game 5.
Lane Thomas.
So let me just
Well, that was the difference, right? The Tigers hit, 3 balls off the wall, and they hit one over it, right?
So when it comes to the trade deadline, the Lions trade their number 2 starter, Jack Flaherty, who won 6-2 for the Dodgers. What did Cleveland do? So while the Tigers essentially gave up on the playoffs and wound up with Trey Sweeney, who was 1 for 15. Not that I'm knocking him. Ricky did a nice job. He did a nice 1 for 15 in the playoffs.
Cole Keith only had 2 hits, I think, in 17 at bats.
They're both rookies. So while Cleveland went out and traded 3 prospects to get Lane Thomas, who proceeded to hit 2 home runs that won Game 1 to put him in the lead.
Yeah, two innings that were the difference in
and
the
then
playoffs,
won
really.
Game 5. So the Tigers really have nothing to complain about in the fact that they gave up in the season. Not that they don't deserve all the praise in the world. They benefited from the experience. They grew, they learned, and all those things. But because they gave up in the season, they didn't get a hitter at the trade deadline, and they could have really used a big bopper. Because look at what home runs did. Home runs won the series. It's always that way. And the stat that's so amazing about baseball, I don't know what the percentage is. In most games, the winning team scores more runs in 1 inning the losing team scores in the entire game. And it happens, whether it's Carps hitting a 3-run homer, whether it's the grand slam the other day.
The 3-run homer in
that's
one.
the way it happens. So they got to go out and get a big bopper. But here's the other thing.
You know what I thought? Actually, this sounds really abysmal to even bring this up, but I was wishing they didn't give up Canha at the trade deadline. Nobody talked about that, but they could have used that bat.
Absolutely.
That's an extra base hitter type guy.
And he's got
right-handed
power.
hitter.
That's right. And he played for the Giants, and he did well with the Giants. So there was, and you know, now Jake Rogers didn't have a bad series.
No.
Get with a couple of key hits.
He had 6 hits.
But Carson Kelly was a home run hitting catcher who could have made a difference had they kept him.
Sure.
So you don't want to knock him because they, like I say, they brought such joy. They brought excitement. It was a great national story as well as a local story. Brought attention to our city. But hadn't they given up in the season? Had they known, and maybe that's what the old thing. You don't know nothing in baseball, but it's hard not to look back. So now you say, by the way, Diamond Sports, which owns Bally, just dropped the Tigers and 8 other teams.
Yep.
So they got to renegotiate the contract. That's $50 million that they may not get back or are only a part of it. Another reason why will Chris Ilitch go and spend? Now,
I don't want to hear about Bally's. I don't want to hear. There's no excuse. Their whole payroll was less than the Astros closer.
I knew you were going to
in the
go
first
there.
round of the playoffs. Come on! Are you kidding me?
They should join. They should join the Big Ten, right? Isn't that what everybody does when they need money? Join the SEC or the Big Ten.
He owes it
$80 million right there
to the core of that team to give them some help, because honestly, those guys got every ounce of ability and play their asses off too. There was not a pop-up that wasn't run out. There wasn't a ground ball that wasn't run out. There wasn't any bit of attitude the last 40 games of the year or whatever that final run was.
Once Baez left, it was.
It's a nice group of people, but it's too small. I mean, look at the offense: Riley Green, Carpenter, Parker Meadows, Colt Keith. Those 4 guys are guys. They're keepers for sure. And there's a lot going on there. And maybe Veerling is part of that too. Ibanez and Justin Henry Malloy, maybe they're part of it.
Maybe. Okay. So good question. Is Malloy part of the future?
Well, he was only a rookie, so yeah, I would say
you don't
he
know.
is probably.
Is Sweeney part of the future?
I don't know about that.
Is Torque going to make it?
Well, that's the best. That's the best question of all.
Is Wensil Perez a part of the future?
Yes, yeah. I thought he hit the ball well this year. He had some clutch hits too. I thought he was a good ball player. You know, he's a young guy.
My wife, who I sometimes rip on the show for knowing very little about sports but thinking she knows a lot, did say something very interesting. She says Parker Meadows reminds her of a young Gibby, and I kind of agree. Now, he's not built like Gibby is, but tall, lanky,
fast,
steals bases.
It's for power.
It's for power. He's a better outfielder than Gibby was. Not that we can expect to have as great a career as Kirk did.
You're saying Gibby was a bad outfielder, Eli?
He was an average outfielder, and he'll admit it. He was an average outfielder.
Patrols center field like nobody. Oh my God, does he chew up space out there?
And Gibby learned how to throw. He really couldn't. K-Line taught him how to play the outfield. He learned from the best.
What, did Gibby throw like a girl when he came up?
Like a girl? No.
He said he taught him how to throw.
Well, he taught him how to throw at a major league level. So,
I know
so if we're going to talk about will Chris Ilitch spend the money, you got to think.
No.
What is a free? Okay. So who are the free agent big hitters that they could really help? Juan Soto. They won't pay for Juan Soto.
No.
Bregman. And by the way, who's going to play third for this for this team? I guess
That's
Young,
a good question.
maybe Jace Young. Is he going to make the team?
I don't know. You can't count on him.
Bregman's a free agent.
That's an obvious guy that they should look to sign.
Bregman.
Because here's what they've done in the past. They signed the third best guy. When all the shortstops were available, they go, Baez is cheaper. We'll take him. When all the starting pitchers were available, we'll take Jordan Zimmerman. He's cheaper. They got to pony up for somebody. This team deserves it.
There's a decent shortstop, Willie Adames, who plays for Milwaukee as a free agent. Unless they think that they got, in terms of hitters, that Anthony Santander, who plays for the Orioles, is very good. But they got
43 home runs.
They got a lot of outfielders that they got to sign. So he's a free agent. Pete Alonso is available.
Yeah.
Pitching, they need another starter, right? They're not going to go with the next year with
starters
with 11 relievers. So you got the Orioles' Corbin Burns is available, Blake Snell, Max Fried, and Jack Flaherty is. And here's the thing that bothers me about the Flaherty trade: they could have given him a qualifying offer, which was a qualifying offer, and then if he went free agent, they would get a draft choice from the team that got him. Instead, They were kind of desperate. The deal with the Yankees didn't go through, and they took Sweeney and the catcher at Double-A or whatever he is that they think may be very, very good. So anyway, so
I don't think Sweeney is a sure thing. I thought he did a great job under the circumstances. Torkelson is so iffy right now. I honestly, I had one thought. I think they should move Carpenter to first base. I think you should at least have him work out at first base. See if he can play first base.
You are determined to have him be a regular player hitting against righties and lefties and finding a position in the field. That's your wish.
I don't know how you can look at that team. I mean, you watched the series. Can you tell me?
You want him to be more like you.
Can you tell me?
Left-hander first baseman.
We need Carey to carry us back to the future we were headed in.
I don't know how anyone can look at that lineup from top to bottom and say, I don't want Kerry Carpenter in there on certain days. Are you crazy?
For some reason,
No, he's never going to hit lefties. He batted 29 times against lefties this year.
they should send him down to the instructional league and have him play against a lefty every night.
They can do that.
Down in Mexico or somewhere.
I guarantee you Kerry Carpenter thinks he can hit left-handed pitching. And just about every left-handed hitter in baseball and every right-handed hitter in baseball hits lower against the guy that, I mean, Torkelson faces righties. Why is it okay for Torkelson to hit 200 against righties but not Carpenter? I mean, isn't that stupid? Torkelson doesn't sit.
Well, Torkelson hit 31 home runs against lefties and righties. How did that happen? Holy shit.
He did it. but honestly, I think they got to start thinking about what to do with first base. You cannot have a guy hitting 220.
Sign Christian Walker.
12 home runs. That's a thought. Who's he play for? Who's he play for?
Arizona.
Yeah, he hits home runs.
But
he's not that old.
They're really
30.
invested in Torkelson. It'd be very hard to give up a number one draft choice.
It's not just
especially if he's not hurt, and he's not hurt.
But Harris didn't draft Torkelson. It's not the same thing.
True.
I don't think he gives a shit. I think it's all a performance thing with Torkelson. I don't think they're in love with Torkelson. I mean, I think he's just like any other guy in the organization at this point. Same with Casey Mize. Casey Mize might be gone.
He's been hurt every year.
No, you can't. I mean, if you can't get in the swing of being in the rotation for 20 straight starts, how can you ever even judge a guy?
Well, that's what they'll tell you in the offseason. Casey's going to come back 100%, and Reese Olson's our third starter. We just need a fourth starter. They'll pick up a free agent like a Matthew Boyd type for, like you say, the Mark Canna price. That's the standard $10 million, which sounds like a lot of money.
If they don't do better than Matthew Boyd, I don't know what I'm going to do. But you cannot have a right-handed hitting first baseman who doesn't hit for power and doesn't hit for average. That's insane. He's not even great defensively.
First and third base are power positions. Yes. Well, we'll see how that goes in the offseason. It was with all the great sports on, I was very pleased this weekend not to have to watch Michigan or Michigan State. Oh, thankfully, they both had the week off. got a big break. They're both, to me, they're just low, second from the bottom tier in the Big 18, and neither, although Michigan's still rated 24th,
24th, yeah,
and they're
right behind Army and right ahead of Navy. The first time they've both been ranked since 1960,
and 2 spots behind Illinois, who they visit next week,
and they're favored. How is Michigan favored against Illinois? It blows my mind. I feel like that's one of those things where Vegas knows something that I don't, because they're giving up a point, which I think that's insane.
It's only a point, though.
Although Illinois almost lost to a terrible Purdue team in overtime, only because Purdue went for 2 and couldn't get it.
Purdue is
awful.
Awful.
They're awful. But meanwhile, Iowa, who Michigan State plays at night next week, just dismantled Washington at home.
Washington and Michigan lost all their starters.
Yeah.
They got out-portaled disgustingly. Awful. They lost their coaches. They lost all their draft picks. And they didn't reload like other teams did. And you look at Oregon and Ohio State with with Phil Knight's money.
Yep.
They got Dylan Gabriel, $3 million a year. They got all these seniors. Look at the starting lineups. Ohio State, 8 seniors on offense.
That Ohio State team is one of the most talented teams in college
how can
football
they have
history.
8 seniors on offense? Why haven't they gone to the NFL?
You know why?
Because they
paid them to stay.
$20 million roster.
Just like Travis Hunter although they got hurt in the Colorado game.
But wouldn't you rather sign a 4-year deal in the NFL as a rookie? Would they be high draft picks? Or not? Maybe they wouldn't.
Yeah,
be.
but well, maybe not. Maybe not. But if you're getting paid to stay and be in college
How
again
much are
with
they
all those,
fucking paying
all those lovely co-eds,
they must be paying him some insane amount.
Well,
of money.
we know
doesn't matter.
the transfer from Ole Miss got at least $1 million because that's what he was asking for.
yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, the Ohio State game.
Is that
He's
Judkins?
the backup running back.
I know they're running right. Travion Henderson was definitely would have gone to the draft.
And who knows what the
As
safety from Alabama got from him.
As soon as
Who's
they
that
lost
dude?
to Michigan, Ryan Day and whoever the AD is let it be known, hey, alumni, pay up, otherwise we're never going to beat Michigan. They raised $20 million like overnight. So
And
who
they
knows,
should.
Who
They
knows what
should.
their payroll is? Yeah, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
They did it. I'm not saying they did anything wrong. Give them credit. Michigan obviously dropped the ball. I just understand you won the national championship. You know, sit back and relax for a moment or enjoy it. And Oregon did the same thing. By the way, so at the end of the game, the 32-31 Oregon victory.
What a game.
Check this out. I saw this in a somewhere today. As I'm watching the game, I was wondering, and I looked it up. So with 10 seconds to go, Ohio State has the ball. They're on their own 42-yard line. They need to get down to the 29 to at least have a shot at a field goal. So what does Dan Lanning do? He leaves 12 men on the field. Ohio State runs the play. The refs call it, but 4 seconds ran off.
Right.
He purposely let the 12 men be on the field so they'd only have one play left.
He did it on purpose?
He did it on purpose. He did it on purpose, and he almost admitted
that
to
was
it
a good
after.
move.
It was and so.
Well, it ought to be a bigger.
But that's
they should make it a bigger penalty then if people can do that on purpose.
Well,
Yeah, but they got to fix that after the fact. But,
Yeah, you gotta
but that
fix
being
that.
said, that's a free play for the offense. I mean, they
it
could.
was a free play, right? But
I mean, Ryan Day knew that.
but you're going
they
against
stopped
12
it.
guys.
They stopped it after 4. It was 10, he hiked the ball. He faded back, and the ref said, "No, 12 men on the field."
Well, why would you take 4 seconds
Then
off?
why
then?
wouldn't you? No,
Because
they must have added time back
they
on.
didn't add it back on, and that's why.
That's a mistake then.
That's why when Will Howard slid, I stopped. He slid with 1 second left. If he'd slid a second earlier,
Spartan Bob had to be on the clock there because there were 3 seconds left when he faked the pass and took off, and he ran 20 yards and slid, and it just went to 0.
They stopped the clock when they shouldn't have.
What are you going to do when you only have one timeout?
The wideout on the lower side of the TV had 10 yards on his guy. Why wouldn't they throw to him?
Because they only had one timeout left. Why did they not use that timeout?
With the 6 seconds, why not go to that guy? He could do it out and get 10 yards easily. Did you see how much space he had?
you could do it with 6 seconds. You think they could have done that?
Yeah, but 6 seconds takes less time to do a quick out than it does to go fake and run 20 yards
Well,
and slide.
didn't break my heart to see Ohio State lose.
No, you must not have had money on him.
Did you?
Yeah, some people are saying.
Did you? Were they favored? Were they favored?
Yeah, 3.5.
They were favored by 3.5?
I thought they were going to kill him. I don't know. But Ryan Day now 1-7 against top 5 teams. They're calling for his head in Columbus.
Well, you know where they're calling?
Because he's got an expensive roster, and they blew it there.
Well,
They can this year. They can
yeah,
take it. They
yeah.
can absorb it this year.
They're
They're going to
gonna
have to
make
win
the
other games.
playoffs.
they're going to make the 12-team playoff without a problem. But the place which is called the number one on the misery index, the fan misery index, is USC. After losing 33-30 to Penn State. Penn State was down 13 in the second half. By the way, Tyler Warren for Penn State caught 17 balls in the game.
Was that the tight end?
Yeah,
Yeah,
including the one that he snapped himself. Did you see that play?
No.
He was the center, but he was at the end of the line, so he's eligible to go out. So he snaps the ball to the quarterback. Quarterback throws it to the receiver, who then throws it downfield to the tight end that snapped the ball. It was
I did
a
see that play.
Great play.
So
USC has 3 losses now.
if they have 3 losses, and Lincoln Riley's only 41 years old, but they say that he doesn't get along with the athletic director, who's a female, by the way. He's been ripping on media members by bawling them out for the type of questions they ask. He's portrayed, and this is just what I'm reading, I don't know, as alienating and arrogant, and the fan base is saying, get rid of him. Just like they did in Texas A&M, get rid of Jimbo Fisher for $76 million. Were they to fire him now, although I doubt they will, they'd owe him $88 million before next year. He got it when Mel Tucker, whatever happened to Mel Tucker, by the way?
We'll find out soon when the courts finish. But Lincoln Riley, they anointed him when he first went there. They said, "Oh, it's a national championship. He's got all the people."
$110 million contract for 10 years. They bought both of his homes in Oklahoma for over $500,000 each, and bought him a house in L.A. for $6 million, and gave him unlimited use of the private jet for his family. And now they're saying he's arrogant. And he's lost 8 of his last 13 games, and the fan base isn't happy.
So are they only ahead of Oklahoma because Oklahoma gets some joy in the fact that he's failing at USC? Because Oklahoma's 4-2, and they got demolished by Texas.
Texas killed them.
Yeah, Texas,
Oklahoma reminds me a lot of Michigan right now. It's like pretty good defense. They kind of have a running game, but just nothing at quarterback, and they both got killed by Texas. There's a lot of similarities there.
There's some bad teams in the Big 18. UCLA is the worst of all. They lost to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Maryland's 0-3. Purdue is terrible, but Michigan and Michigan State are maybe in fact, what are the odds on Michigan making a bowl game? That might be a long shot bet. That's
They only got to win 6 games, right?
A bowl game?
Yeah,
They'll
bowl game,
make
won't
a
they?
game. Come on.
Of course they will.
Jeez.
That's about all I got, except for the fact that Deshaun Watson didn't play terribly today.
He was 16 for 28 for 163. No touchdowns.
Someone's counting his numbers.
You just see that
He sucks.
Kurt Warner said they should replace him with Jameis Winston, but
I think I would make a change there. I
Fully
don't know what they think he's going to turn into the old Deshaun Watson at this point.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But they're 1-5, so they need to do something. I think it goes beyond him. I think it's beyond him.
His stats suck, though. I mean, they do. They really do.
Well, what is it? I mean,
terrible.
I haven't seen them play much. Is it just they have a bad offensive line because they're loaded?
He gets hit a lot.
They're loaded at the specialty position.
He does not run well.
No, he doesn't scramble anymore.
He used to run.
Backed up. He needs a massage. He's got to go blow a load. What if we went in that blue tent and blew a load? And then came on and just threw it all over the
It's worth a try.
So my last thing is, last week we talked about what really is a stolen baseball. If you have it in your hand in the stands and somebody takes it away from you, that was your ball and it was stolen, but you guys gave me a hard time with that. So here's another one. Should this be illegal or not? The Steelers' George Pickens is being investigated by the league because he was being guarded by Jordan Lewis of the Cowboys last week, and his eye black said, "Open fucking always."
Yeah.
He on my fantasy team.
And Jordan got pissed at that, and they got into a snit at the end. And of course, Pickens, that's just eye black. It's no big deal. There was no purpose behind the message. They're going to review it for a potential fine. You're not allowed to use personal unapproved messages displayed during the games.
Oh, boy. Whatever.
Anyway, sadly with the Lions, let's hope for the best with Hutchinson. But I still think we hope they have enough to get through without him.
Max Crosby, baby.
The man, the myth, the legend, that's Dr. Yaldo, the podcast vision guru. For over 5 years now, he's consulted with hundreds of Drew's listeners, explaining how custom LASIK and those amazing bifocal implants can transform their compromised vision. If you depend on glasses, contacts, or reading glasses, he'll get you to 20/20 or better without needing any of those old technologies ever again. So go see him and then toss those old-fashioned solutions in the trash. He has for years brought his experience and expertise to Detroiters. For those reaching middle age with near vision issues, the bifocal implants are life-changing, and the procedure is quick and painless. Just go to YaldoEyeCenter.com to learn more and sign up for your free, no-obligation evaluation.
Hey, get out of here.
One last note here on Hutch, because Campbell did announce that, he did break his tibia, which we kind of thought, but the PR team then came out and said, you know what, it's not a compound fracture. I don't know, does that make it better or worse?
Well, compound is
That
where
means
it
it
breaks
comes
through
out
the
of
skin, right? Yeah.
I guess it makes it better.
But how much?
I don't know.
You just need to. I mean, it's an easier set. Than having to pull it out.
It just sucks, man. It's awful.
Well, he's done.
But hey, they won, so.
They did win, but I still think that you should replace them just because of the window and the opportunity that we have.
Yeah.
This
Well,
team is
they-
looking so fantastic.
They will. They definitely will. I mean, the trade deadline is somewhere in the middle of the season, probably 2-3 weeks away.
If his backup wasn't injured as well, I'd say let's roll with the backup. But
Yeah, but he's out for the season.
now I really feel like, you know what, I trust these guys in the front office to make moves. So if they want to get rid of a first, I'm fine with it. If they want to get rid of a couple firsts, I'm fine with it as long as it's the right move.
Well, and you can probably, you can give a couple of 3rd and 4th and 5th round picks are attractive also. So I think they'll do something.
All right.
Hopefully. Okay.